All right, so I'm Jason Yarusi of Yarusi Holdings. We're a multifamily investment firm here in Middle Tennessee focused on repositioning multifamily assets, and this is your weekly webinar. So each week we bring you new topics all about multifamily investing, and this week is no different. So if you like what you hear and you want to hear more about all sides of all topics focused on multifamily investing, make sure you go down there and hit that follow button, like and subscribe so you are updated when future webinars come to you each and every week. So again, I'm Jason Yarusi of Yarusi Holdings. Today, we're going to talk about maintaining and managing a multifamily property. So most of the time, the energy is put in actually getting the deal done, getting to the closing table. And that's where you see most of the success out there is, hey, we just closed this deal. However, that's when the work begins. The work is in the next 3 to 5 years, maybe a year, maybe could be a forever property in for you, putting forth your plan and implementing your plan. And how do you effectively maintain and manage the property? It's looking at the overall building of where it stands and what's going to create the value today that's going to give you the most worth later on to the future. Now, many times it's things you can't see, right? Ultimately, if the roofs need to be done or the windows need to be replaced or the plumbing, there's plumbing issues or there's electrical issues, sure, you could probably get through this property. However, on the back end, it's probably not going to gain you any more value at the sale, but it's definitely going to discount you at the sale. That next buyer is going to say, hey, listen, we have to do all these items that you did not do, and it's going to cost us X amount of dollars. We are going to ask you to discount that price. And for the overall look at a property and appeal of property and the functionality of property, it hurts you to not do these items. So most of the effect is, hey, what should we do inside these units today, right? What could we do to potentially create more curb appeal or go in there and renovate the units, right? Add LVP flooring, change up the paint color, change up the lighting, change up the cabinets, put in granite or quartz, right? How do we create the most value for the renters that are coming in? But the functionality of the property is where it's at, because maintaining an efficient and effective property is ultimately going to help you cost control on your expenses. If you are not replacing the windows here, many times the windows are not having any R value left. So ultimately your utilities are not functioning at high capacity. If you have breakers, right? So old Pacific breakers, where you have aluminum wiring, one may discount you. The insurance carrier may have notes here that is going to cost you a higher premium on insurance, and the lender may force you to do some of these repairs. But also from a building functionality, it's also not creating a safe environment for your renter pool. If you're having old clay piping for plumbing, or you're having poly plumbing here where it can create future issues, these could be systemic issues here that could bring down the nature of your building. So looking at your building, where can you create value? Value that not only is going to create more revenue streams, more income streams, but how could you create more value in the overall condition of your property? So as you're effectively looking at your property today, you have to ask those questions, right? What are the big ticket items that we definitely want to tackle because it's going to make the property more efficient? And what are the other ticket items that can create more value, whether it be to increase revenue or to curb expenses on the property? If you're asking these questions, you're looking at your business plan and making sure it makes sense. Many times the focus is on just value, revenue, but it's the tenant experience, right? That's going to create the most value. You could continue to renovate these units, but offer a poor building or a poor living experience. And ultimately, regardless of your trade out and leases, you may turn a lot of tenants year on year out because they're just not being treated to live in the place that you're providing in a very well fashion. So looking at your overall tenant experience, looking at the overall benefit, how you maintain and manage this property, how you treat tenants, how you work on work orders, how effectively you tend to the tenant's needs is ultimately create an environment that either can make or break your apartment community. So if you are not getting the results you want today, you have to look at your operations and really look hard. Is it you as your business plan that's offline? Is it the management partner that you have managing the property that's offline? Or is it a combination of both? And if you do this, you can say, okay, for me to maintain and manage this property and get the most value, what is it that I'm not asking or doing today that I really need to put high energy into tomorrow? That can really make and break where your property is and get you the results that you want to the future. So again, I'm Jason Yarusi of Yarusi Holdings. This is your weekly webinar talking about effectively managing and maintaining a property. Make sure you go down there and hit that follow button. And so one last thing here is that when you think of your property, this is someone's home. And if you're thinking of it just as a dollar sign, most of the time you're going to miss the mark because you will be treating it as just doing things that can hopefully get the most revenue stream. And although you may get more revenue, ideally the effects, some of the things that are hard to witness today, right? Not paying attention for how many turns you're making, how if you could keep a tenant for another year, right? By doing good things like answering their questions when the sink's leaking or the doorknob is replaced. It's hard to value that. But your cost to turn a unit and vacancy is your highest cost right there. And if you don't put into mind the plan to think about how you can forecast it in the future, you're ultimately not going to get the max value out of your property. All right, so that's this week's weekly webinar. Make sure you check in each and every week for each topic we have coming out talking about all multifamily investing. I'm Jason Yarusi, and that was your weekly webinar.